Well, I'm told that this event is about Detroit. And I'm born and raised in Detroit. My daughter is 18-year-old freshman at Wayne State University. Her name is Arnesia, and I wrote her this song when she was about 7 years old, so that she would know that not only do we have hope for the future, but we have to have respect for the past. Call it Arnesia's song. In the year of 1916, the moneyed world had turned its hands to war. But deep within the state of Alabama, Arnesia of Evergreen was born. And there never was a movie done about her. Ain't no history book will ever hold her name. But I know her story like I know my own hand, and I will tell her story just the same. Well, in 28, when all the folks were laughing, talking about the money that they'd made, at 12 years old in dresses made of patches, Arnesia picked the cotton while she played. And she helped her mother raise 2 orphan cousins, 'cause that's the way they did it in those days. Barely older than the children that she cared for. That's how Arnesia learned her mother's ways. And in 34, when all the folks are crying, talking about the money that they'd lost, Arnesia was all alone and trying to figure out what love too young would cost. She'd had 2 children 4 out of wedlock, back when having bastards was a mark of shame. Though she never wore it in her own house, she raised her babies with their father's name. And no movies were ever done about her. Ain't no history book will ever hold her name. But I know her story like I know my own hand, and I will tell her story just the same. In 49, Arnesia left for Detroit to see the poor man's fabled promised land. She sold whiskey to the workers in the bottoms. She put her problems all in Jesus' hands. And Detroit, it wasn't like old Alabama. Well, she had to learn to face the cold gray morn. That rags wrapped round her feet would keep her walking. Newsprint round her legs would keep her warm. And in 56, while civil rights was marching, you know her daughter had a baby of her own. She found out what Arnesia had long known, that it's hard to raise a baby on your own. But those women worked to raise that boy together. Lord, they gave me all the best they had to give. And when I think about the way those women raised me, I know those women taught me how to live. And no movies were ever done about her. Ain't no history book will ever hold her name. But I know her story like I know my own hand, and I will tell her story just the same. By the 60s, Arnesia's son got married. He found success in the mechanic's trade. His 8 children came and brought his mama pleasure, and around her feet all 9 grandchildren played. We grew inside the joy that was around her. Somehow we'd all cut out our middle marks for a neighborhood of children called her mother, and she wiped away our tears on callous palms. But by the 80s, while the whole wide world was spending, Arnesia did the best that she could do. Her only son was killed at 37. Her only daughter died at 52. And the twist of fate had taken all her children and nearly all the joy that did remain. But in my son's eyes, she met 4 generations, and she knew her life had not been lived in vain. And in 90, in the month that she was born in, Arnesia of Evergreen went home. And in 91, my wife came in and blessed me with another little Arnesia of my own. And sometime when I hear my niece laughing, I can hear my other niece in the sound. And it's then I bow my head and pray to heaven that Arnesia's life goes better this time round.